guys, welcome to I Emily, and today we're going to be talking about facts about Elvis Presley. But before we get to that, my backdrop. And if you want to win this beautiful backdrop, all you gotta subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, if you don't know about Elvis, come on. No really, his daughter died a few weeks ago and everyone talking about the Elvis movie that came out I don't know when it came out. Probably last year or something. So what, but I never saw the film. I just see clips of it. Austin Butler in that movie is, Austin Butler did fabulous in the movie. I never see it, but I heard people said that he's handsome. And okay, so the first fact is Elvis and Priscilla's relationship would have been illegal today. So Elvis' wife was Priscilla, and she was 14 when she met him. And so she was a very young woman who Elvis his eyes on her, but they went on to marry in 1968. She was the only woman that Elvis ever took vows with. Life was a whirlwind for the teenager. She coming of age, married to the famous celebrity in the world. And Elvis was 24. That would be illegal in today's age. He'd probably be arrested. But life was different back then. The next fact is Elvis have a twin. So Elvis was born on January 8, 1935 in a two-room house in Tulapo, Mississippi. But there was another baby. His name is Vernon, after his father. But he was stillborn, and we could have two famous rock and rollers. And as a result, his mother had never had a child, and she became attracted to her young future melodic of music. And it was so close that when she died in 1958, it reported that female guests became uncomfortable with the extreme amount of sorrow shown by Elvis. Others say it was never the same after she died, so So Elvis was never the same. Maybe he wasn't the same after she died. The next fact is he was really shy, and at age 11 his mother got the guitar that he always wanted instead of the rifle. She wanted to keep his fingers string instruments of instead of pulling the trigger. It may surprise to learn that the ultimate performer was so shy when he grew up. He wanted to play the guitar as soon he got his art scenes too. He was so good at singing that he was 12 years old. Local radio station offered him a chance to sing one of their shows, but he turned the opportunity down for a reason because he was too shy. The next fact is he turned down after audition when he was 19. So, when Elvis was 19, he auditioned to join a gospel quartet called Songfellows, and moving the judge panel really glad they turned him down. But that ended up working out for all of us because Elvis has already started recording songs. In the previous year, Elvis recorded his first song, and he paid $4 to have the soundtrack, and it was a birthday gift to his mother. And Elvis moved to Memphis when he was 13 years old. In 1954, the same year he auditioned for Songfellows, he was already to make a already budding music singer in Memphis rock and roll. So when he was 19, he sang a song for his mother on his birthday. That's just a sweet thing to do. That's just so sweet. The next fact is Elvis used shoe polish to make his hair black. So legend has it, a local DJ played Elvis's That's Alright 40 times a day. The Memphis listeners love it, but he didn't believe Elvis was white, and the only thing black about Elvis is his hair. He used shoe polish to make that happen. And by 1955, Elvis was writing, but nowhere near the household names as he enjoyed today. In that same year, he bought a 55 Fleetwood Series 60 Cadillac, and he gave it to his mother, who didn't even have a driver's license. But that didn't stop touring with the Sky Moore and Bill Black in 1955 and 1956. So Elvis' hair was like sandy blonde, and he used shoe polish to dye his hair black. I mean, no, the next fact is all I know that he didn't write his song. So the King's breakout hit was another about a song about a man who dropped out a window in his hotel in Kentucky, and the single's name was Heartbreak Hotel, was released in 1956, and it became his first $1 million seller. It's just like his other song he released, he didn't write it. That's why folks. That's why people didn't write it. Heartbreak Hotel has simple guitar strings but catchy, and Elvis' voice showed range from high-pitched wailing down to his own low tone. And while the sound certainly caught everyone's ear, it really when their eyes saw him move on TV. His fast moving suggested his bumped shortwave around the world. So the next fact is Elvis the Pelvis, and we know him as the king of rock and roll, and there's other few nicknames. He was crowned eternally, and his first nickname came after a performance of Hound Dog on live TV. So he did perform with his guitar, and that was the request of the host, Milton Berlin, who said, "Let me see you, son." And Elvis rocked the stage, gyrating his hips as he swayed around the microphone and stand, and the performance affected the audience that profound. He was immediately dubbed Elvis the Pelvis because he was gyrating those hips, saying, "You ain't nothing but a hound dog." The next spot is Elvis' first album spent 10 weeks in the #1 spot in Elvis soared into the stratosphere with his debut album, Elvis Presley. It was the first rock and roll album to go #1 and stayed there for as long as 10 weeks in 1956. And Elvis hit the ground running, and it was a star right off the bat. So the next fact is Elvis starred in over 30 movies. And he took the role that he made even now, even today, pretty much from the get-go. And his performance had women screaming and frenzy and critics swoony. And that same year, Elvis was called a savage by Florida judge for unterming the youth. But what? So Elvis ventured into his film career, and Elvis was quite the actor. I mean, he starred to 30 films in his lifetime, so I wish I was starring a movie. I mean, if I were alive and back in the 50s, I'd be like, oh, Elvis, you're so handsome. Can I be in a movie one day? That would be me, but if I were alive in the 1950s. The next fact is Elvis bought and lived in Graceland was the first year of her career. In 1957, Elvis purchased his famous home and now the notorious landmark called Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee. And it's been rumored that the previous owner named it after his daughter Grace, and Elvis bought it for $100,000. It became an iconic tribute to the singer and remained a popular tourist attraction for Elvis fans. So I want to go to Graceland. I want to go to Graceland one day and see the King's live, the King's house. I mean, Graceland was like Disneyland. So the next fact is Elvis served 2 years in the military at height of his career. So during the Cold War, the United States introduced a peacetime draft to keep the numbers up in face of the Soviet threat. And when Elvis' number was called despite being one of the most paid people in the world, he reported to duty. And he was conscripted to the army from 1958 to 1960. By then he had fancy cars, women across the country had losing their minds over him, many toys, and over $400,000 in a bank account. And he left it all behind when he fulfilled his duty to the country. The next fact is Elvis will have been arrested for this today. So the King's service to his country brought him all the way to Germany. While he didn't receive any special treatment from the army, he was given $78 in a month in salary. The fact he did his duty gave him respect from his haters. And though Elvis had many love and interests in his life, he met the love of his life on doing Germany, and he was 24 at this time. And that he didn't stop him falling in love with the 14-year-old daughter of a U.S. Navy pilot. I mean, I mean, if I was 14 and lived in Germany, I love Elvis, but I don't get to marry him. I mean, if I was a 14-year-old girl, 14's still young. 14's still young. The next fact is, Elvis always asked Priscilla to do this, and despite their long relationship and deep marriage, Elvis, at the love of his life, to always look her best, and uphold his ideals of her as a perfect beauty. Later in life, Priscilla also revealed she wore makeup around him 100% of the time and didn't want to see her get dressed or do her hair or anything that lady to do with the best. According to Priscilla, Elvis liked mystery, knowing the competition with her man was fierce. So the next fact is Elvis helped airline polio. So in 1955, a scientist named Jonas Salk finally invented a cure for one of the worst diseases, polio. So polio was this nasty disease. But after a year, doctors were still having trouble getting teenagers to take the vaccine. They decided to take it. They did public way. So prior to his performance on the Elvis show, Elvis posed for the press and got polio vaccine from doctors. A photo like the one above was published from the New York Times the next day, and incidence of the disease went down 90% between 1950 and 1960. So good job, Elvis. So the next one is he was said to cry. Hi-ya! So Elvis would be a great soldier to serve with, and his generosity gave him fantastic fanfare. He brought everyone to his reunion at SSF fatigue and donate all his army salary to charity, and he wasn't a music star anymore. He was doing the American Saloon. Women loved him, and men wanted to be him. While in the army, Elvis got seriously to karate and studied the fighting style of Chill Roy by his instructor Hank Samansky, and Elvis would take the stage after his tour and use his moves during his act. Before he left Germany in 1960, he was so good he received his black belt. So Elvis was crime master. So the next fact is clear power moves, and Priscilla was concerned that her lover's career would suffer from him for being a regular soldier. He wanted to go to the special service, which is for the test, but a place where he could do performance for the army, and he will also have to contact with the players and enjoy safety that would afford to the soldiers. But Elvis had a manager who was top notch in Cleveland, and Clancy determined that if Elvis did his time in the service, it would make him popular. And Colonel Tom Parker would have the key back from Dickendale for the years, and Elvis trusted him his whole career to point him into the right direction. So the next fact is Colonel Parker came from a background in carnival. So Elvis' manager played a big role in taking Elvis to the top of the charts. But he was a carnival promoter before the music industry. And oftentimes, Parker referred to Elvis as my attraction, and as he was part of the carnival. And he also painted sparrows yellow and sold them as canaries. As much as Elvis, like Parker, was a shady man, as Elvis died, it was discovered that Parker was taking in the half of what Elvis made. The next fact is Little Elvis. Elvis never liked spending the night alone, much to Charlie and Priscilla. While in Germany, Priscilla might be been his girlfriend, but the king had other love interests. That included a 19-year-old girl named Elizabeth Stefanian. I have trouble pronouncing her last name. Who have hired to handle his fan mail, and she ended up handling a bit more than the mail. Little Elvis at the king referred to his manhood was really alone, and Sergeant Presley was discharged in the March of 1960. He returned home, sold the train he was riding mob at every stop from New Jersey to Tennessee. The next one is Elvis singing wasn't sexy, it was pornographic. In the record label, Elvis was signed with RCA, and they managed to put together 4 albums from all recording material during the King's tenure in the military. When he got back, he was rushed to the studio, even recorded a song during a stop on his train ride home. This result was the 1960 classic Elvis is Back, and the album was successful. It produced as memorial songs as Elvis edition of Is Now or Never, and All You Lose Will Tonight. And the album inspired one music critic to say Elvis' singing wasn't sexy, it was pornographic. So Elvis. So the next one is the Elvis sandwich. So you don't need to go over, but it was a pan 2 slices of bread, peanut butter, sliced banana, and bacon. I mean, I could try it. I mean, I love peanut butter sandwiches. I mean, the next fast, he have $1 recently. We don't need to talk about this. The next fact is Elvis' manager might have been a legal immigrant. The idea to get married was another success by Colonel Parker. He was always extremely conscious of the king's image and went to great lengths to ensure he was well received, and he thought the union would make Elvis more popular to the public and push for Elvis and Priscilla to get married. Less to know fact is that Parker was a legal immigrant from Holland, and Elvis never once did a European tour and only played Canada for a handful of days during his career. It's rumored that Elvis didn't travel abroad because Parker would be deported if he was applying for a passport, and they wasn't going to risk it for you. That means. The next fact is Elvis was a serious germaphobe. And Elvis, as reported Priscilla tells her, he was a germaphobe. According to her, he used to set glasses on the part above the handle Noah had before he was drunk for that part of the glass. The next fact is Elvis was a little trigger happy. So we all know that Elvis got a guitar for his 11th birthday and a girlfriend of Elvis named Ginger Alden recounted a time when Elvis fired a gun at the TV set. She also recalled a time when he fired a bullet into her headboard as she slept. He apparently did to grab her attention. I mean, he was a little trigger happy. The next fact is falling for fame took a huge toll on him. So, Elvis was a huge film star at the 60s. but his absence from the music scene saw his celebrity wane. Other bands such as the Beatles, Queen, and the Rolling Stones were topping the charts, and the rock and roll had slipped upon to the mainstream. And the king wasn't about to sit back and watch his throne being taken. According to reports, sometimes around 68, Elvis took a walk busy Los Angeles street and no one recognized him. He walked come a long way from girls crying and fainting when he saw him. It was enough to cause him to rewatch his career, which he did with his television concert titled Elvis. The next fact is Elvis' big comeback. We all need to talk about this. It was the best comeback as a rock and roller. I wasn't alive in the 60s, but I see clips on it on YouTube. And he was so handsome. The next one is Elvis was granted as a badge as a narcotics agent. And he dabbled in drugs over the years, and by the mid-60s he used prescription pills regularly. His drug use was beginning to show an effect on him, which he made his meeting with President Richard Nixon in 1970 more awkward. And he met Nixon at the Oval Office of the White House, and he had all requests for the president. He asked the president if he would grant him a badge as a narcotics agent, and this seemed like an outrageous request, except for the fact that the president granted his wish despite his lack of training. I mean, Elvis was like crazy at that time. The next one is Elvis liked to dress up as a police officer and pull people over. And he loved to dress up as a police officer and pull people, mainly women, over to get his autograph, being the best person in uniform to hand someone a ticket and say you're welcome. And those autographs were worth something. So rather than paying the unsuspecting moments was coming up. Priscilla just say have disapproved of this practice in love aspect of the king's life. In 1972, they were divorced, much to the happiness of women across the country. It is rumored that Elvis will allow good-looking girls to enter Graceland after hours, and one night there were 152 ladies waiting outside. The next fact is eyelash dye making him dirty. So by the time Elvis was divorced, he was already 37 years old, and he was no longer the young buck with the boyish good looks, and the fast-paced lifestyle was taking a toll on his mental and physical health. But he wanted to keep his appearance as youthful as possible. The king was no longer using shoe polish to keep his hair black. For that, he used Miss Coil 51D black velvet. He even dyed his eyelashes, which reported led to health complications later in his life. The next fact is Elvis wasn't welcome in Las Vegas. Musically, critics despised Elvis Presley when he showed up to rock and roll Las Vegas in 1956. It wasn't quite the Swing Sissy as the town was still by the member of the Rat Pack. The World War II generation wasn't really ready for the hip-shaking king, but he roared anyway. A Las Vegas songwriter said as he stood up clutching his guitar, he shivered like he's suffering from itchy underwear and hot shoes. But the generation had changed in the early 70s, and the king made Elvis made Vegas his home base. This fact is white little chapels and shotgun weddings. What happens say in Vegas is the slogan adopted the king ran in the desert. In 1964, Elvis saw a movie called Viva Las Vegas. In the movie, he got quickly married to his co-star Anne Margaret, and ever since, White Chapel has adorned the area around the Vegas Strip. In Las Vegas, long before the Quickie Way became so what as a touring attraction. The next fact is Elvis developed a bad pill problem. So we all know that Elvis had used drugs, and he had prescriptions come from 5 doctors, became depressed, and developed poor personal habits, and sometimes he is so concerned about his weight, he will lay for bed for days without eating. When the music gave away the rock and roll life at the doors of Jimi Hendrix, Elvis could be found on the strip rocking for a crowd from that paid $70.50 for his show and lobster dinner. And the king always been a man of the people. And that's when Elvis was big, when then he got bigger. And he always been a real-sized man, and he being 6 feet tall and having size 11 shoe, but towards the end of his life, he gained a lot of weight. By 1977, journal Tony Thurman, Presley had been good to control his sleek, energetic former self. In another journal, Lewis says it's almost unrealizable. A small child-like instrument which he taught more than sing on the songs, cast about uncertainly in the melody virtually unable to articulate or project, and his performance was turning into spectacle. He also suffered from glaucoma, high blood pressure, liver damage, and an enlarged colon. I mean, poor Elvis. And the last fact is, some people that he faked his own death. So we all know that Elvis died in August 16, 1977 at the age of 42 in his bathroom at his home in Graceland. I mean, some people thought he faked his death to escape fame, like with Tupac and Jim Morrison at the door. But his lifestyle had been finally caught up as he died from a heart attack, and toxicity reports over a dozen different drugs in his system. I mean, long live the king. And that's it for today. If you want to learn about Elvis and his music, go watch the movie. Go watch the movie if you have the time. If you want to win this background, all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll see you later. Bye!